A newlywed couple went on their honeymoon in Thailand, but the wife mysteriously disappeared while trying on clothes in a shop's fitting room. Despite searching the entire fashion store thoroughly, the husband couldn't find any trace of his wife, and even the police were helpless. After 10 years, he returned to Thailand for a trip, and while watching a bizarre show, the man was shocked to discover that his wife had been turned into a pig without hands or feet. Some details of this case were later recreated in the Chinese movie, Lost in the Stars, released in 2022, which achieved impressive box office success. Before exploring this true case, don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel so you won't miss the most thrilling cases. In the spring of 1998 in Bangkok, Thailand, what was supposed to be the start of a wonderful honeymoon suddenly turned into an endless nightmare for a young Chinese couple. At that time, traveling to Thailand was becoming extremely popular and favored by many Asians. On TV channels, travel magazines, and social media, tour companies constantly promoted a vibrant image of Thailand as the ideal destination in Southeast Asia. It was an attractive place with lush green beaches, delicious street food, and diverse entertainment activities. That image was everywhere, making everyone eager to experience it right away. Yan and his young newlywed wife, Liu, were very excited about their honeymoon trip. After careful research, the couple decided to choose Bangkok, the bustling and modern capital of Thailand, as their sweet honeymoon destination. In their minds, Bangkok was beautiful, culturally unique, and reasonably priced, perfect for two young people to experience. Before departure, Yan and his wife spent a lot of time researching carefully. They asked friends, relatives, and those who had been to Thailand to prepare for the trip as thoroughly as possible. Their friends enthusiastically told them about countless interesting places, from lively night markets to ancient temples, especially unique art performances. The young couple believed this would be an exciting and novel experience they had to try. But they did not expect that in this country there were other performances, even more spectacular and sometimes much more startling than the transgender shows they had heard about. As soon as they arrived in Bangkok, Yan and his wife were overwhelmed by the scenery. The city's charm spread strongly from the moment they stepped off the plane. The fresh, pleasant air, diverse and unique culture, rich cuisine, and the city's dazzling lights created an irresistible allure. However, because it was peak tourist season, the crowds pouring into Bangkok were extremely dense. Every place they went was packed with people. The streets, eateries, and attractions were noisy and crowded, making it a luxury to find a quiet space to enjoy private moments together. Yan's wife could not hide her discomfort. She complained about the difficulty of breathing. Seeing this, they decided to enter a small quiet alley to shop. This alley sold many jewelry and clothing items, but had very few tourists. Yan felt the atmosphere in the alley was somewhat gloomy and suggested turning back, but his wife insisted on continuing to shop. Then she stepped into a clothing store, stared at the fashionable clothes inside, then told her husband to wait outside for a moment, while she tried on some dresses, and would be out soon. Yan agreed, unaware that this would be his wife's last goodbye. He waited outside, watching fashion and souvenir shops for a while, but she didn't come out. Thinking she was choosing clothes, he didn't pay much attention. But after 30 minutes passed with no sign of her, he called out. Strangely, his wife didn't respond. Inside was silent. Yan went in and found only the shop owner watching TV. He asked the shop owner, who said no customer had entered their store. At that moment, Yan had a strange feeling, and insisted that his wife had come into that store to try clothes. He then ran to the fitting room, gently touched the curtain, and called her, but Liu did not reply. He pulled the curtain aside, but no one was inside, only a few dresses and clothes on the wall, half tried by customers. The shop owner still calmly said they had no customers come in, and advised Yan to check other shops. Yan then noticed the store was decorated in an old-fashioned style with dim lighting, but had many fashion items on display. The sales staff size and expressions were cold, as if they didn't need customers. Because in the late 90s, Surveillance cameras were not yet common, many small shops didn't have them. Even the alley they went into had no surveillance cameras, which accidentally caused Yan to lose the chance to find his wife. Thinking she might have wandered to other shops to browse or shop, he ran around calling her, but got no response. In confusion, Yan thought maybe she had gone back to the hotel without telling him to surprise him. Although this idea seemed unrealistic and baseless, he still held onto a flicker of hope to find his wife at the hotel. He then took a taxi back to the hotel. When he opened the door, he found the room completely empty, with no signs that his wife had returned. A feeling of panic and confusion overwhelmed Yan's mind. His whole body felt numb, and his head was spinning. His wife's sudden disappearance, along with the hesitant and mysterious expression of the clothing store owner when they met earlier, made him suspect that things were not as simple as he thought. Overwhelmed with worry and despair, Yan hurried down to the front desk to ask them to call the police. In a short time, the Thai police arrived at the alley, where the couple had been shopping, and began the investigation. They searched the entire store and even checked other shops in the alley, but found no trace of Liu. Seeing the situation getting more serious, Yan contacted the Chinese embassy in Thailand for help. The embassy also conducted their own investigation, verifying information and carefully examining every detail, but found no clues. No witnesses appeared to provide additional information, or had seen his wife on the streets of Thailand. After many days of fruitless searching, Yan's tourist visa was about to expire, forcing him to return to China. Before leaving, he called his family to inform them about his wife's disappearance during their trip, causing great concern. Upon return, Yan faced mixed reactions from his wife's family. Even her parents suspected him of plotting to eliminate his wife in Thailand. Since returning to China, Yan not only carried the pain of his beloved wife's sudden disappearance, but also had to endure suspicion and criticism from his own family. No one in his wife's family believed the story of her strange disappearance in the fitting room of a clothing store in Thailand. They thought it was just a fabrication to cover up a more terrible crime. Some even speculated that Yan had sold his wife abroad for money. Worse still, some maliciously suggested that he had killed her right there in Thailand, and then fabricated the mysterious disappearance story to mislead others. Suspicion peaked when his wife's family filed a lawsuit against Yan with the domestic police. However, due to lack of concrete evidence, investigators could not charge him. Baseless accusations, scrutinizing looks, and cold treatment plunged Yan into the depths of despair. The pain of losing his wife was compounded by isolation from those once close to him. Still, he did not give up hope of finding his wife in Thailand. He contacted some friends to help post missing person notices within the Chinese community in Thailand to seek more clues. He even spent money hiring private detectives to investigate the case, but the results were zero. A year passed, Yan lived in regret and torment. Unwilling to accept fate, he decided to return to Thailand again. This time, Bangkok was as bustling and crowded as ever. But the alley where his wife disappeared remained eerily quiet as before. Yan carried a photo of his wife, asked people he met on the streets, and checked every shop, but the answers were still indifferent shakes of the head and cold hand waves. As night fell, Bangkok became even more dazzling with sparkling lights, and nightlife grew more lively. But for Yan, everything seemed frozen. Another day passed in despair, with no clues about his wife. Just as Yan was about to return to the hotel, he noticed a billboard advertising a bizarre show called The Bull Show. The bizarre performance Yan accidentally attended originated in the United States in the 19th century. At that time, these shows mainly featured deformed people, strange creatures, or other unusual phenomena to satisfy public curiosity. In an era when entertainment forms were limited, such freak shows were considered among the biggest attractions, and were widely popular. Therefore, these shows partially satisfied people's curiosity about strange and previously unknown things. The impact of this exhibition type was mainly psychological, stimulating curiosity and complex emotions in people. The US was once the center of many such freak shows, which gradually spread to other countries, including Southeast Asian countries like Thailand. However, an unknown fact is that freak shows in Asia became much more distorted. If there were no disabled or genetically mutated people, they would find ways to make normal people appear strange to attract customers. Behind these shows was a criminal network led by crime bosses, or mafia gangs. Since the 2000s, with the internet boom and widespread mobile phone use, people easily come across these bizarre things on the internet. Freak shows gradually faded and disappeared due to curiosity and psychological pressure. After a long day of fruitless searching for his wife, Yan decided to stay and watch the bizarre show. What he could never have expected or believed was that the wife he had missed so much suddenly appeared in that very strange show. But Liu was originally a normal and completely healthy person. Why was she in this bizarre performance? When the bizarre show began, the lights on the big stage in the venue suddenly shone brightly, focusing on the strange characters appearing one by one. Yan could see unusual people on stage such as giants, dwarfs, four-legged people, conjoined twins, or people with rough skin like crocodiles, or elephants. They were called bizarre names by the audience like Elephant Man, Four-Legged Girl, Crocodile Boy. Whenever these characters appeared, they received continuous cheers from the crowd. Yan watched each performance attentively, his emotions becoming increasingly chaotic. Suddenly, the host's shout made the atmosphere in the venue livelier. The host pushed out a large vase placed right in the middle of the stage, covered with a cloth. When the cloth was pulled down, the crowd cheered excitedly, but only Yan was shocked by what he saw. On the vase was a woman's head swaying continuously with vacant eyes, her hair neatly combed. This woman had no arms or legs, and couldn't speak, looking no different than a pig. Looking closer, Yan was shocked to realize the pig-like figure on the vase on stage had a face identical to his wife's. Thinking he was mistaken because he missed her too much, he rubbed his eyes and tried to look again. The truth in front of him struck hard. The woman turned into a pig was indeed his wife, who had been missing for a year. Too shocked and stunned, Yan only managed to shout her name loudly and tried to rush onto the stage, but was stopped by several guards. Yan struggled to break free from the guards, while shouting curses at whoever had turned his wife into a pig. Seeing the chaos, some participants quickly called the police, and Yan managed to get on stage to protect his wife. However, at that moment, a group of thugs rushed in trying to snatch the pig person from Yan's hands. Fortunately, the police arrived in time to disperse the crowd and arrested several troublemakers, allowing Yan to rescue his wife in time. But when he looked at her body, he couldn't help but be horrified because her arms and legs had been removed by the criminals, and they even injected her with drugs so she couldn't speak. Seeing his beloved wife in a form neither human nor beast, Yan could only hold her tightly and cry loudly before taking her to the hospital. The Thai police quickly arrested those behind this horrifying freak show. Through interrogation, the truth behind Liu's disappearance was finally revealed, uncovering the cruel secrets of a human trafficking ring. After interrogating those involved, the police uncovered a shocking secret. This was actually a human trafficking gang in Thailand targeting foreign tourists. They set up fashion stores as a cover for sophisticated kidnappings, aimed at female customers. Returning to the clothing store where Yan's wife had shopped, especially the fitting room, they discovered a secret door carefully hidden in the wall. Behind the wall was an underground tunnel leading to another store. According to the testimony of the arrested criminal, it is very likely that Liu was drugged and then abducted through the secret door in the fitting room. After reaching the other store via the tunnel, the kidnappers would load the victim onto a waiting small truck and take them to a concentration camp. That gave the reason why Liu disappeared while shopping, while Yan was unknowingly waiting outside the store. The police said the secret door was so ingeniously designed that it was almost impossible to detect with the naked eye. This explained, despite thorough searches by Yan and the police, no clues about Liu's whereabouts were found. Thai police revealed that this clothing store had a bad reputation, and was very likely just a front for kidnapping women through the secret passage. Many tourists had become victims of this criminal network, Some were turned into living blood banks, others became sources of organs for some government officials. The red liquid and internal body parts were priced and transported across Asia. The police's account sent chills down Yan's spine and those around him. Fraud, kidnapping for organ harvesting, these were things often heard of, but no one thought they occurred so blatantly. A criminal even claimed profits from trafficking one adult could reach hundreds of thousands of US dollars. Asian girls' prices were not low, but white girls' prices could be more than 10 times higher. This was not a fabricated story, it was a terrifying reality. Tens of thousands of victims each year got caught in this horrifying spiral. Behind that secret door was an abyss of crime, where gangs specifically targeted young women. Once caught, they could be forced into prostitution in brothels or, worse, have their organs harvested. Some victims even had their limbs removed, and were forced to beg, or perform in freak shows, to entertain customers, like Yan's wife. Although Thai police could not find the main kidnapper who took Yan's wife, they arrested 103 criminals involved in the trafficking ring, including a high-ranking military official. Most rescued victims survived, but only few, and some who were saved later committed suicide due to psychological trauma from their kidnapping and torture, which was like hell. As for Liu, after being taken home for treatment, her mutilated body caused panic, and she refused to see anyone. Added to this were the psychological and physical injuries from captivity, worsening her condition. Liu refused to eat or accept care, staying indoors all day, afraid her appearance would scare others. After a while, she died from malnutrition and prolonged starvation. Many see this story as an urban legend, but quite a few believe it's true. Only the horror and brutality caused it to be forgotten over time. The truth is that in many countries, criminal gangs kidnap women and mutilate them by removing their limbs to turn them into disabled beggars. If the victims disobey, they are imprisoned, denied food, and live like prisoners. Some beautiful girls are forced into brothels or sold across borders. This is a highly organized crime network involving many officials, making it difficult to dismantle. The 2022 film Lost in the Stars is said to be inspired by this tragic couple's story. Some details in the film were changed to make the plot more engaging. What do you think about this chilling story? Leave your comments below the video. Don't forget to hit subscribe to follow more horror cases. Your support is the motivation for us to bring you even more fascinating cases. Thank you for accompanying us, and see you in the next videos.